I can't help it if I'm bad at math. My math teacher was a retard. He used to walk around our school and hit people on the head with a hurl and laugh.
Being bad at math is cyclical. If you have a math teacher that's bad at math, then you're bad at math.
Yeah, it's
he
hard
certainly
to,
didn't make it fun to learn.
The math,
dude, my math teacher was a drunkard. He literally was just like, do this, and then everyone would just sit in silence.
He would
wouldn't do nothing. He would just like, he'd put us on like a book and be like, learn that, and then he'd just sit there, and then he'd be really miserable, and then he'd go downtown to like drink.
During school hours?
During lunch and come back up drunk. He came up drunk a lot.
I don't know if I told this story. I feel like I might have. It's also kind of on topic because we're playing a Sonic game. But my dad, it's also kind of my dad's fault that I was even into this shit to begin with.
Oops.
But there's this thing called PAL Comics.
Yeah.
And I had downloaded a bunch of the comics because I was gonna practice drawing like the porn. Like I was gonna practice drawing the bodies and like learning anatomy and also jerking off to it later.
Yeah.
And my dad had brought the computer to a guy, like an IT guy, and he confronted me about it. And the guy had fucking printed off the pictures, and there was like 10 pictures of these like really bad.
He printed off your porn?
Yeah, and like
loser.
And he gave them to my dad, and my dad gave them to me. And he's like, "Do you want to talk about this?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I downloaded that." Like he was expecting this like long pep talk.
What do you expect?
But like, I smacked him with like, "Oh yeah, no, I downloaded that. I'm sorry." And he's like, "Oh, don't do it again." And that was it. It was conversation over.
Man, I remember one of the very first times I went on a porn spree when I was like pretty young. My mom and dad found a bunch of history. And
dude, once you learn how to delete history,
I didn't know about history. Like they fucking like
either.
kicked my feet out from underneath me. They're like, "Chris, come into the kitchen," right?
No.
And
these stories make me fucking.
They sit me down and they're like, "So we're noticing some weird looking things in the history here," and it was very vague. All of the websites weren't called like "man fucks woman." It was all like stuff like. It was just weird, vague words I can't even remember. But they're like, "Chris, if we click on this, it's not going to be anything bad, right?" And I was like. No. And then they were like, they stopped and they paused for like 5 seconds. And my heart was pounding. I was sweating, and it was like, okay. And I deleted it. No, they didn't even click on it. I was like,
oh my god.
Why did they not click on it just to fuck with me? I don't understand. I would have done it. What?
I gotta tell you the first. Oh no, death chamber. All right, well it's time to turn my brain off. This place fucking sucks. Okay, so I gotta tell this story. So the first time I found out about like history and that you can't delete it.
You can delete it.
Well, I didn't know that how you search through like the address bar, it like saves it permanently unless you do a certain thing.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was like, I was with my sister. We were just fucking around. I was actually. This is weird to even think I was with my sister, and I was with my sister. And we were just like typing in things like poop and pee and shit in like in the search engine, and then we typed in like gay men and like fucking dicks and stuff. And the first website is like cowboys and stuff, and we were like laughing, but it was like really like low quality like websites and shit, and it was like the kind of stuff you'd see on NeoGAF and. I didn't know that the literal search term of gay men would be in the address bar. But my dad opened the fucking search term for Google. Yeah. So.
Oh no.
He called me and he's like, "Cork, get in here." And he typed in Google and gay men appeared. The website with the gay cowboys like pulling the pants slightly down, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" And I was like, "Fuck!" And he's like, "What is this? What's the meaning of this?" And then, maybe since it was me and my sister, it's like, "We didn't know." He's like, "Oh, you were both doing this?" And he's like, "Oh, you looking for penises and shit?" And we were also laughing, so he's getting really pissed.
Yeah.
But oh my god. It's just so funny. You never realize that like a letter will be associated with the fucking search term. Oh god, it was so funny.
It's hilarious. Fucking, did you ever have that moment when you were younger where you're like, am I gay? And then you try it?
Yeah, I tried sticking stuff in my ass, I didn't like it. It didn't work out.
I didn't mean like that. I meant like watching
I tried
a gay
bananas
video.
in like CD cases and didn't work.
Sticking CD cases in your ass?
Yeah, the ones with the rods that you put CDs on. I used the trash bag as a condom. I think I said this.
You know,
You guys don't even understand. You guys are lucky. You didn't realize. You guys actually had like a functioning internet as a child.
Yeah, you're
Since I'm a million years old, I barely even had. I had a modem. I had to call up the phone line. Like a
no, Jeff. As a kid, I had a modem.
modem.
I had a modem up until I was like
My
13.
dad, you know, I guess like I don't know. I guess I was like curious about girls or whatever at a young age, and my dad was like,
Can I restart? This sucks.
Yeah.
we went to like. What was it, like playboy.com, and it's like I swear it took like 5 minutes to load one fucking image, and it just started like going like line by line, and then my dad just like winks at me. He's like, yeah, you just sit here, you check this out. He leaves the room.
What?
But I swear to God,
How old were you?
I was very young.
That's
I was
awesome. I was 1 year old.
I was
My
2.
old man set me down in his lap, made me watch porn at 1
I don't
year
know.
old.
I was like 12 or 13. I
Yeah,
don't
that's-
know.
that's normal,
You had to be
fine.
like,
And he's
what you
like,
would
yeah,
expect.
you check that out. But it was like, I'm just sitting there. This
He was just
image-
making sure you weren't gay.
Well, I would.
Master plan.
He probably would have been one of those guys. Maybe mildly sad if I was, but you know, I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure it would have been accepting either way.
But Dad, I don't
Did you
want
have
to
any?
watch porn.
Did you have any terms like that though?
Whoa.
Terms?
Yeah, like did you do anything like what I just did? Like did you search for stuff without
Did you
like
shove
realizing?
bin liners up your ass?
Yeah, did you search put Crayola markers in your ass?
Did you fill up bin liners with farts and let
It's
them
funny.
loose?
My dad had this.
Yeah.
I think he had this.
I like how you just went.
He
into,
had
like,
this
a porn
porn. I
conversation
think
with
that
us
was
and
on floppy disks,
Oh God.
and they were almost like GIFs at that time. But
or like 64 megabytes, right?
no, it was like 1 meg or something. Dude, it was
Worse.
crazy. Like those literal black floppy disks.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
held like 1.1 megs or something. It was
Jeez.
crazy. But it was like a black and white animated GIF, which was like at the time it was like, whoa, this is like full motion video.
That's
and,
crazy.
You know, he hid those discs. I found them. And I watched them.
My uncle had a bunch of weird fucking porn magazines. They were called Bizarre, and they had both porn and gory pictures in them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Fucking-
creepy.
Yeah. Fuck you, uncle.
My dad's made me see weird shit. Like I think I said this before, but
Yeah.
like my dad showed me like the Faces of Evil, which is a really really fucked up thing. He showed me the Faces of Evil, and he's like, yeah, you're not gonna like this. He's like, but I'll let you watch it. I'll see. Like he was curious how much I could watch it. Like he wasn't sure if I would avert my eyes, but seeing animals get like fucking, just like seeing that kind of shit was. Like, I couldn't look away. It's almost like, you know, when you see, like, a car accident, you're just, like, fascinated by, like, the idea of a car accident happening.
Yeah.
And your head can't turn away. So he was like, all right, you
Yeah,
need to
I
stop
remember that
watching
stuff.
this. And he, like, did that. But then he would, like, turn on things like Indiana Jones, the scene where the guy's face is melting off. And he would turn it in slow motion and laugh as I fucking bawled my eyes off. And he just, like, keep, like, the guy's, like, face melting.
Yeah.
He would turn that up to fucking
Let me ask you,
11.
like YouTube, like what was like traumatic shit you saw as like a little kid?
Traumatic shit.
Wait,
Yeah.
not traumatic, but while we're still on the same subject.
It could be movies or whatever.
No,
Traumatic.
one
Go ahead.
time I was in the kitchen. The kitchen was where we used to always like hang out, do
Yeah.
homework, watch TV,
Oh, I
and all
know.
this other shit. And we'd always go in and have dinner. But one time my mom was making dinner, and I was just sitting there waiting for my dad to get home from work, and my sister was like in her room or whatever. So it's just me and my mom, and then my dad walks in. And then right as he walked in, this show started, and it was called Eurotrash. And it was like, I was like, oh, what's Eurotrash? I've never heard of this. And then it was just like, welcome to Eurotrash, where everything blah. As it started talking about really gross shit. But I was like, now let's begin. Here we have 40 naked men hanging out, wrestling in the dirt, and it's like, and it talks about like their fucking dicks and stuff, and you can see their dicks like, and they're all wrestling
Oh
each
my
other
God.
and flopping around in the mud.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
And then it played a song that was like 20 centimeters, and it's like talking about their dicks being 20 centimeters long and shit.
Yeah.
And my dad just walks in, he's like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, it just came on. I don't know. It's on TV. And he was so fucking pissed off. He's like, don't you ever watch that again. And I was like, oh, whoa.
my God.
It's like, what? It was just on fucking regular old TV. I don't fucking understand.